Shalom Aleichem, Bogrim Karim. Wow, I wish that this camera would be two directional to get to see you all as well. I'd like to re-extend an open invitation for each and every one of you to be in touch. From my perspective, that's the ikar of this video. The Yeshivat asked me to share some thoughts on the Parshat, so Bezrat Hashem. The maftir in Parshat Beshalach, we read, Vayevol Malek, Vayilachem, Yisrael Refidim. We have the whole story of the war in Malek. And then at the end, as everyone knows, we have the tzivui from Hashem, Vayomer Hashem Moshe, Tov zot zikron b'sefer, v'simos mei Yoshua, ki macho amechet zet Amalek, mitach Hashemayim, Vayiven Moshe mizbech, v'yakashmu Hashem nisi, Vayomer ki yad al kes kam l'chama l'Hashem b'Amalek, v'dor dor. Obviously, Parshat Zachar, and then Kitesei, we have the mitzvah of Zachar to share Salach Amalek. And here I want to relate to two questions. Question number one is, why does Amalek come specifically at this junction? It seems to be that when we look in Parshat Zachar, then the Kitesei it even emphasizes that. Right? That as you're leaving Mitzrayim by Derech, which was a point that Rav Hadari Zatzal, or River Rabbi, would always mention the meaning of Derech, so when Moshe Rabbeinu concludes the Torah, the idea of a Derech. And the second is, why is Hashem, the Torah's response, so extreme? Meaning over the generations, for sure in the time of the Torah until this day, many nations that come and attack us. Why was Amalek different than everyone else? Why was what they did so extreme? Why dafka by them do we have this tzivui? Hashem says Meshach in Parshat Zachar we have the tzivui of Timche. And to answer that question, I want to discuss for a moment the structure of Sefer Shemot according to Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kohen Kook. Rav Tzvi Yehuda will talk about the Ramban's idea of Sefer Geula and break it down into three sections. He says the Geula from Mitzrayim is a three-step process. The first part is Yitzirat Ha'am, is the creation of the nation. The parshas that we're concluding now, the Shi'abud, the Yitziat and the Shi'abud, the Geula, both in Bo and Beshalach. That's the first stage of the Geula. The second stage of the Geula is Am Yisrael's receiving of the Torah, Yitro and Mishpatim. And the third stage of the Geula is only afterwards, when we have the tzivui of the Mishkan, with the idea of Asu Mishkan, V'shechanti B'tocha, to have the Shekhinah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu dwell amongst us, the nation, which obviously is eventually meant to happen in the Beit HaMikdash, here, Bezrat Hashem out the window in Yerushalayim, Od Hayom, today. When Amalek comes, they're not just coming b'katnas, it's just not another attack on Am Yisrael, but they're coming b'gadus. They're coming particularly at this junction between the two different stages, the stage of the creation of Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael are created in the core Barzel Mitzrayim, and the stage where Am Yisrael receives the Torah. And by doing so, they're planning of throwing a wrench into HaKadosh Baruch Hu's master plan. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes it so seriously. It's not by chance that it says Milchama Hashem Amalek door. There it is on the derech, at the summit, at the junction, that Amalek's coming to wreck Hashem's plan. But it's not just one of Hashem's plan. It's Hashem's master plan, the plan, and to a certain extent, the reason why HaKadosh Baruch Hu creates the world. Right? The very beginning of the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim et Hashemayim et haaretz. Famous question, second Rashi of the Torah. What does it mean, Bereshit? And Rashi brings down B'shvil Reshit. Right? For Reshit. And what's Reshit? Two things. Reshit are called the Torah, and Reshit Tfulato, Am Yisrael. And Hashem creates this world for two ideas that were around before Hashem created the world, which was Torah and Am Yisrael. But this plan isn't two things. They're not two separate things, but they're Shtayim Shem Echad. They're two which are one. The plan is for Hashem to have a world in which His nation, Am Yisrael, is going to implement the Torah. And where is all this meant to happen? Here, in Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, it's not by chance that if we take a look in the Tanakh, where else do we come into counter with Amalek? So firstly, Parshat Shlach, right? We have the story of the Meraglim. And there, when they come from the Negev, the first people they come on encounter is with Amalek. Again, Amalek's there in the junction, just as they were there between the Torah and Am Yisrael. When Am Yisrael is now trying to make their way into Eretz Yisrael to implement HaKadosh Baruch Hu's plan for which He created the world, there's Amalek again, trying to stand in the way. The next time we have is in Sefer Shemot. Immediately after Bnei Yisrael established the Melucha, after Shaul's kingship is solidified, we have the Milchama against Amalek. The Gemara in Sanhedrin, and Daf Chaf Amud Bet teaches us, Tanya Rabbi Yossi Omer Shalosh Mitzvot Yitztavu Yisrael V'Kisitam La'aretz. Bnei Yisrael receive three mitzvot when they come into Eretz. Lamila Melech, Lachrit Zarosh Amalek, V'Levnot Lehem Beit HaBechira. Right, to establish the kingship, appoint a king, to destroy Amalek, and then to build the base of English. Now, these three things are not three random things, but there's a progression. First, you have the Melech, because the Melech's job is to be an ambassador of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world, to lead his nation, to be an Or L'Goy, to be what we'll learn next week in Parshat Mamlechet Kodim L'Goy Kadosh. That's the third stage, because the central headquarters of being a Mamlechet Kodim L'Goy Kadosh is the Beit HaMikdash B'ezrat Hashem. But in between, you have destroying Amalek, because Amalek is the antithesis of the Shem Hashem in the world. Asher Kfarcha B'derech, Amalek's the one that believes everything happens by chance, and there's no ashkacha, there's no rhyme and reason. And therefore, first the Melech, then Amalek, and then the Beis HaMikdash. Perhaps, for the cherry on top, I'll remind you all of a pshat that you're familiar with, which is Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kohen Kook's pshat on the Gemara in Baba Metzia and Daf Pehei. The Gemara in Baba Metzia, Amar Rav Yehuda Marav, Mai Dichtiv Mi Haish HaChacham Mimin Zot Vasher Diber Pi Hashem Elav V'Yagid Al Ma Ovda Haaretz. Why was the land destroyed? Pasuk in Yirmiyah. Devar Zeh Amru Chachamim V'Lo Pirshu. Amru Neviim V'Lo Pirshu. Ad Sheyifreshu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Ba'atzmo She'amar V'Yom Hashem Al Ozvam Et Torati Asher Natati Lifnehem. They asked the Chachamim, the Chachamim have no explanation why Hashem destroyed the land. They asked the Nevi'im, they have no explanation until HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes B'chvodu V'Atzmo and explains, as the Pasuk says, Azvam Et Torati Asher Natati Lifnehem. They left the Torah. Now, this might have been true during the first Beis HaMikdash, question of the second Beis HaMikdash, but they learned Torah. Along comes Rav Yehuda in the name of Rav and says, Shalom Baruch Hu B'Torah Tchila. Shkoyach, they learned Torah, but they didn't make Birchas HaTorah. Now again, Birchas HaTorah is one of the two brachos that is a mitzvah d'oraisa. It's obviously a big sin for them not to make Birchas HaTorah. We want every year before he learns Torah to make Birchas HaTorah. On the other hand, if we say Kivayachal, it's a little bit of an over-exaggeration. What, the Golos, the Chur Beis HaMikdash? Not because they didn't learn Torah, because they didn't make Birchas HaTorah. So to this, Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kohen Kook explains, you have to look at the nusach of Birchas HaTorah. Birchas HaTorah is Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'Natan Lanu HaTorah, that Hashem chose us from all the nations, i.e. the first third of Sefer Shemot. V'Natan Lanu HaTorah, that He gave us the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't give the Torah to any individual yid, not even to Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was representing Klal Yisrael. And every single time a yid opens up a Gemara, opens up a Sefer to learn Torah, he has to recognize that this is the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave to Klal Yisrael. The value of our Talmud Torah is connected to the fact that we're part of Am Yisrael. And our mission as Am Yisrael is connected to the fact that we're going to see the Torah. Those two things are connected. And that's Amalek. That's Amalek that come b'derech and try to wreck HaKadosh Baruch Hu's plan. I think in conclusion, there's a message that we can learn here. Maybe perhaps two messages. One on the level of the klal, if we mention quickly, not that it's less important, so we mention it first, and then on the level of the prat. On the level of the klal, here we are, Tafshin Pehei, we're still in the Milchama of Charav Barzel, which I like to call Milchemet Bereshit, because the war broke out as we started reading Sefer Bereshit, the beginning of the Torah and Simchas Torah. And these are precisely the two things that this war is all about. In the background of the war is all the Sinat Chinam, which unfortunately still exists, but I think we got closer as a nation. For sure, with all the machlokes, the kirva, biyachad, for sure on the battlefield, it makes no difference. All Jews come together, and the achdus is something that I saw with my own eyes in Gaza. And for sure, the Indian of the Torah. Here we are, Simchas Torah, it's the Chag, that Jews come together, that we start the Torah, that we celebrate the Torah. And these are the things that we're able to see over the last year and a bit, year and a third, the chizuk, and we're heading in the right direction, both in terms of Avos Yisrael and in terms of commitment and learning of Torah. And chizuk and Torah, we have to continue being mechazek in those areas, B'ezrat Hashem, to bring the Gula. But I think there's also a lesson to be learned here on an individual level. As an individual life, Baruch Hashem, for sure a relevant message, the guys on the other stage, after leaving yeshiva, moving forward in life, Baruch Hashem, people move forward, they advance, they fulfill their potential, they begin to fulfill their potential, but it's almost inevitable that every once in a while, right when you're at a junction moving forward, boom, comes an Amalek, comes some type of something to get in your way, and then you're like, oh, what am I going to do now? I have all these dreams, l'shem shamayim, I want to do good things, and there's something that's coming and trying to get in my way. And here, I want to give everyone a bracha that we should recognize, as we read the last pasuk of our Parshat, that Milchama Hashem Amalek door, that HaKadosh Baruch was constantly fighting Amalek. And if we dig down deeper and realize that we have the kochos, and we put in our hashtalos, B'ezrat Hashem will be zochet tziyata d'shmaya, and we'll be able to succeed, not just Klal Yisrael as a nation, but each one of us as individuals. Wishing everyone a Shabbat Shalom, Kol Tov L'Shalom.